in your last match, we know that you had a big super match against a star of our sport, Tim Bresnan, and I think it went down in Atlantic City. How long ago was that, bro?
Um, month ago,
Month ago.
5 weeks ago.
All right, and that was thrown by Sean Hancock. And you want to just give us a little background of how that match came apart, like how it all started and all?
Yeah, sure. I approached like message, I guess Sean said I wanted to pull Tim Bresnan, because I look up to Tim's a very strong arm wrestler. So like I said before, I always want to challenge myself. I'm not going to go try to arm wrestle someone that I'm pretty sure that I can beat. That doesn't do anything for me. So I wanted to see how if I could mix it up with Tim, because I've never even stopped Tim before, right? It's always been boom, boom, over the years. But I believe in the last 10 years, last time I pulled him was probably 2012 or 13, somewhere 10 years ago. So I wanted to mix it up with Tim. So I asked for the super match, and he was having an event in Atlantic City, and he set it up. So he said, so he asked Tim, and so we did set that up. So that's it was me.
And now, what was the stipulations and all that discussed? And
so here's what the terms were. So Sean said it was $1,000 for Tim to show up. Agreed. $1,000 if Tim wins. Agreed. And a hotel room. Agreed. Now
hold on. Do you get the $1,000 cash prize if you win?
No, I asked that. So there was no me winning if I got no, it was no $1,000 if I win. It was
so you're risking $2,000 no matter what. You lose, you're losing $2,000 right off the bat.
Yeah, so I'm losing two if he wins, right? Yeah, so I'm losing two, and plus a hotel room. So here's where the little gray area comes in. And our messages that Sean Hancock put online, every one of those is me, and every one of those are true. So here's what was not discussed. So what wasn't discussed, Sean Hancock did not say 2 nights. He didn't say 3 nights. He didn't say 4 nights. I didn't say 1 night. Now, I've been arm wrestling longer than Sean Hancock and Tim Bresnan put together. I've been pulling for 36 years come this spring. I've had people come here. I've had Corey Miller come from Wyoming all the way across the United States. And I put him in a hotel for 1 night. 1 night. It's always been 1 night. Anytime someone's put me in a hotel, I went to Canada with Kenny Smith 5-6 years ago. They put me in a hotel for 1 night. So there is where the gray area is. I didn't say 1 night, nor did Sean say 2 nights. So I assumed 1 night, like it's always been any other time, unless there's been a stipulation. A matter of fact, when Corey Miller came 10 years ago, I paid for 1 night, I believe, and he paid for the second night, right? I said, I got you 1 night, and he paid for the second night. So there has been stipulations where there is a second night involved. So here's how it goes down. So everything's agreed. Like I said, there's no amount of money discussed on how much the hotel or how many nights. It's just that I'm going to pay for his room, right? So that is the gray area. If there is a gray area, that is where it is. So
okay, now did you discuss anything with Tim, or everything is going through
never
Sean
talked
right now?
to Tim about it at all. Only Sean Hancock.
Okay, so the thing that was agreed on was $1,000 for Tim to show up, $1,000 if you lose for Tim's cash prize, and a hotel room, but no, they didn't say how long or where or anything like that for the hotel.
That's correct.
Okay.
So I get to the tournament. I ran late. I was late. Traffic, it just got pretty crazy. So I was an hour and a half late, something like that, maybe even 2 hours. So I had to warm my arm up in the car, right? So I warmed my arm up like 20 minutes. So I was ready to arm wrestle as soon as I got there. So I was all warmed up and ready to go. So I walk up, and Sean was like, they were like, yeah, Morocco's finally here. You need to warm up and say, I said, no, I'm ready. I'm ready to arm wrestle now, because I knew I didn't want to hold Tim up anymore. That was like, kind of sucked that I was that late. So anyway, 2 minutes before I arm wrestled Tim Bresnan, they showed me a bill that said, oh yeah, by the way, the hotel room was $690. I got so freaking mad inside, but I had to hold my emotions because I'm getting ready to arm wrestle a guy that I've never beaten before, right? So I had to put that aside. When they showed me the 690, and they don't know because I didn't show it, but I was very bent.
Now hold on. Where is the 6 night? What hotel is this at? And is this somewhere
Uh,
next to the venue?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere next to the venue. I didn't look at it like that. But I did see $690.
Now, did you stay in a hotel that night, or did you go home right after the event?
No, because it was only well, it should have been 3 hours and 15 minutes. It ended up being 4 hours. It ended up being 4.5 hours because traffic was very bad. So I drove there. It's a 4 hour drive. I drove there, should have been 3. I drove there and then I drove home, right after. And for Tim, I think he's about a half hour more than me. So he's about a 4.5 hour drive. So anyway, they showed me this 690. I don't remember if it was Tim or Sean. I think it was, I don't remember. It doesn't even matter. But I was so freaking mad inside, but they don't know this, right? So I'm trying to, all right, I don't got time to be mad. I'm trying to focus on arm wrestling this stud in front of me, Tim Bresnan, which I've never even slowed down, right? That's why I wanted to arm wrestle him, because he's very good. So I put that aside. And so then we arm wrestled, and Tim he wins. So after Tim wins, I don't know, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I walk over, it's me, Steve Walker, Goga, and Goga's wife are together. And then I think Steve went on, and me and Goga and his wife. So then they tried to say that I disappeared, right? So there's just so many things that aren't true. I disappeared and I broke camp and was trying to get away. And then Peter Milano tracked me down. And I'm not trying, I love Pete Milano. He's a good dude, but he's a big human being. If Peter,
so hold on, where did you go right after that? They couldn't find you. You left right after?
No, I didn't go anywhere. There's a picture of where I was. I guess I'm gonna have to put it up too now. I was probably 100 feet from where the arm wrestling table was. So that's where I went.
Now, where was the event actually at? It was out on the boardwalk.
It was on the boardwalk at the very end of the boardwalk.
Okay.
So I was still on the boardwalk, still in vision of the arm wrestling table. So you got these people saying that I tried to disappear. And then they, Sean Hancock and Pete Milano had to track me down to get paid. Now, let me tell you something. If I wasn't going to pay, why did I have $2,200 in an envelope with me in my pocket? And if I wasn't going to pay, Sean Hancock couldn't have done anything about it anyway, right? I wasn't not going to pay. I owed the money. I gave Sean Hancock $2,200 cash immediately when he came up. And then he, so there's just a lot of things that got twisted. He said that I said, so
let me just clarify this for everybody. So you had $2,200, and in your head, it was for the $1,000 show up fee for Tim, $1,000 cash prize for Tim, and $200 that you assumed was going to be the hotel cost for one night at Atlantic City for him.
That's correct.
Okay.
That is 100% correct. So me giving Sean Hancock $2,200 cash is not up for discussion. That is a fact with a capital F. I gave Sean Hancock $2,200 cash. That is not even up for discussion anywhere.
Okay, so how long after the match you go right after? Give me an idea minute wise, how long until you gave him that $2,200 cash?
2 minutes.
Okay, so it was right after the loss. So you went, So then what were they saying that you disappeared? I'm not getting
I-
that.
here, they're lying. I don't know why they're saying that I disappeared. I never got out of sight. Didn't disappear. I didn't disappear. So I don't understand that at all. I'm scratching my head to even understand that
What
that I
was
disappeared.
What was Sean's reaction when you handed him the $2,200? Now, did he count that in front of you? Did he say something now?
No. So here's what I said. So so I gave him 2,200 cash. Now let me back up a minute. And I've owned my own business for 30 years, right? I own a successful concrete business. So here's how the deal goes. Is PAL is what do you call him? The director? What would you call that? What would he be called?
Is the organization that
He's
Sean
the
works for.
organization or the sponsor, whatever you want to call it. He's the organization. So he was like the boss. Sean Hancock was like the boss. So Tim Bresnan is Sean Hancock's athlete, not Dave Morocco's. I handed Sean Hancock 2,200 cash. So again, let me just back up my business. Let's say I get shorted. You think I haven't got shorted before in business? If I get shorted, guess what? Dave Morocco doesn't get paid. Not my employees. They get paid no matter what, right? They get paid no matter what. I don't care if I go in the hole, they get paid. My men get paid every week, no matter what. If someone's going to eat something, it's me because I am the captain of the ship. So the PAL was the sponsor, right? They're the organization. They are the group. So Sean Hancock should have went directly to Tim Bresnan and gave him $2,000. Tim Bresnan is the athlete, correct? Tim Bresnan is, and these are facts. Tim Bresnan's the athlete. Tim Bresnan should have got $2,000 from Sean Hancock. And I shouldn't even had to do this, but had I known, I'd have went and give Tim Bresnan 2,000 and Sean Hancock 200 towards the room. That's what I would have done. So Sean Hancock, and this is a fact, gave Tim Bresnan 1,500 and kept 7. He gave Tim 1,500.
Now,
so
why did he keep the 700?
I guess he paid for the hotel. And this is just me guessing, right? I guess he paid for the hotel, but why else would he? But he gave Tim Bresnan 1,500 and kept 700 of it. Man, that's wrong from Sean's point of view. That's your athlete right there, boy. You need to pay your guy. He's your employee right there. You're the employer. Guess what? You're PAL. You're the head of the organization. You need to pay your athlete. So he should have paid Tim 2,000, kept 200, and tried to come at me for the 500, which $690 is unreasonable. And here's another thing. I was trying to talk myself into doing this. I was trying to talk myself into paying this guy. I was like, man, maybe I should just give it to him. And I knew it was wrong. I was like, oh, and again, like all the texts between me and Sean, that's all true, right? The only thing that is where it gets squirrely is when he gave me the bill for $690 2 minutes before I was arm wrestling Tim Bresnan. And what do you think that did to me mentally? I was bent out of shape right there, but I had to suck that up and try to just put that off to the side. And I did. I put it off to the side and I arm wrestled Tim. I have no excuses arm wrestling Tim Bresnan. That's a strong dude, right? But I did compete with him very well. And we'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, that's where it got squirrely.
Dave, how long before this was the match set up?
How long did the match?
How long before the actual super match date did you know of this and prep?
Probably about, I want to say 10 weeks, maybe something like that, somewhere around 10 weeks.
Okay, so what I see as the problem here, and this could be just me looking outside in, being another promoter and all, is I feel like this should have been discussed between you and Sean, because if you didn't talk with Tim at all, You guys should have had 10 weeks before, should have had, just like you had the $1,000 show up fee, you had a $1,000 cash prize, and then that room should have been told to you 10 weeks before that it was going to be $690, because waiting to that day to work that out right before the match, I just see as a major problem. And then the other thing is in the arm wrestling world, we just assume, hotel night, you're going to say $100. So say 2 nights, we're going to say $200. That is kind of like the unwritten kind of rule as far as how much for a hotel room, unless it's discussed before, but I got to say $690. If one of the athletes that I got, said that was for one of the rooms, I would have made sure 10 weeks before that you, Dave, understood that and would have been like, okay, so before you take this match, even if everything works out and you win, you're still going to cost you $1,690 to pull this guy, because $1,000 to show up and the $690 for his hotel room. So even if you won, you still cost you $1,690. So with that being such a big number, being the $690, I just think that should have been discussed from both of you. I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong, but do you agree that that should have been, talked about, or a contract?
Oh yeah, 100% I agree, because I've never had an issue with anyone when it comes to a hotel room except him, right? Ever. I've never had someone spend $690, and then Tim Bresnan's only driving distance away from the venue, right? So if you're going to arm wrestle Dave Morocco in a super match and have a good chance of winning, right? Because he should have, he was kind of supposed to win, right? It was me trying to step up. So you got Tim Bresnan only 4.5 hours away. He's got to come on a Thursday night to sleep Thursday and Friday night to arm wrestle me on a Saturday. That's taken advantage of. And because if they would have told me $690 for the room and I was halfway there, I would have turned my truck around and he would have got zero, right?
Let me ask you this.
They were afraid. They were afraid to tell me. Why do you think they waited till I got there to tell me $690? Why didn't he tell me $690 2 days before, 1 day before? I
should have been 10 weeks.
Yeah, I would have went nuts, because that is very, very it's like a man law of 690 is ridiculous.
Right, let me ask you this question, Dave. Now, if Sean would have said this 10 weeks before and would have said that it's $690 for Tim's room for 2 nights, what would you have said then?
I would have said, no, I'm not doing that.
What if he said it was, all right, we'll do it for 1 night, and it would be $345. Would that be reasonable?
I would have contemplated it. I probably would have done it because I wanted to arm wrestle Tim very badly. And even after all this crap, right? All this crap, I was still contemplating on floating Tim another 100 before the crap, before all the, and then because he got 2. Well, Sean got 2. Because Tim got 1,500. The one, I feel bad for Tim because he's the one that got shorted, right? Sean did not give his athlete. Tim Bresnan is not Dave Morocco's athlete. Let me tell you something. If you flip this around, right? Flip this coin one time and let me be the PAL guy, right? And let Sean Hancock have done. The misunderstanding was the opposite. Tim Bresnan gets 2,000 immediately. I give Tim Bresnan the 2,000. I keep the 200, and then shame on me, because I first of all, I'm not asking someone for $690 for a hotel room. I'm not going to do it. It's too much. So if you're coming in town and we're going to go out to eat dinner, and let's just say I'm going to order chicken Alfredo, right? And then you say you're buying. I'm not going to change it to steak and lobster. Yeah. I'm going to order what I already was going to order, right? That's how I live. That's just how I am. I'm not going to do that. And anyone that knows me in the arm wrestling industry, I've been doing this for, like I said, almost 36 years. I am not going to have no one run over me or talk or just they're just not going to do that. I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to stand up for what's right. And this is exactly what I'm doing here, right? Is exactly what I'm doing here. Not to mention, right? And again, not to mention, Chuck Bardo put, and I've showed at least 10 people, Devin Larratt, Travis Bagent, Craig Toulier, Paul Lynn, Kenny Smith, and I'm not putting anyone out there. I've showed, and probably 3 more, the foul that Rance Clayton, and there's 3 more just like it, where there is no foul. There is no foul, not even a little micro foul. My elbow is on the pad, right? Tim hits me over to here, hits me over to here. I get over here, just starting to settle in a little bit. There's no elbow foul. And look, Chuck Bardo put that on the other day. Not one comment, not one comment. And that's a fact. The camera does not lie. And there's 3 more, 3 more. I had 4 fouls, not 8. I had 4 fouls. So I fouled out of the 6 rounds. I fouled out 4 of the 6 rounds. Now, tell you the truth, Sean Hancock did a pretty good job with his side of the reffing, right? It was Rance. I mean, so, and again, I just sucked that up, right? That is what it is. But what I do know is I can attain Tim Bresnan's strength, right? I don't care how it went. I lost. I can attain that strength because it wasn't, I mean, my wrist is better than his. My wrist was better than his. A couple times we went and his wrist buckled. Mine never
let me
buckled.
ask this, Dave. Did you do you feel if those fouls weren't called that the outcome of the match would have changed?
I'm not sure. I'm not so sure. Yeah, the outcome where I could have got a win or 2. I think I could have got a win or 2. Yes. Me beating Tim Bresnan, and there again, Dave Marrocco is going to always tell the truth. I think it's probably unlikely that I win, but I win a match or 2. Now, this is what I do believe. 6 months from now, I'm training a little bit more, understanding, because, it's hard to get confidence against somebody that I've never stopped. Got to remember, before this, Tim always right through me, right through me, right through me, right through me, right? And then in the straps, baby, it was on. And Tim's good in the straps, but so am I. That's where I'm very good. I'm better in the straps than out of the straps. So
Dave, where did this go south though? Where did so that all the controversy starts. When was it brought to your acknowledgement that there's a problem? Was it
okay? So it went south when I text him and talked to Tim, and then Tim ran and told Sean Hancock. Hang on, I'll read it to you.
So how long after the event was this that you talked to Tim? And let me just ask you, this is the first time that you're talking to Tim, even before the match or after? This is the first time you guys are communicating, correct?
I haven't talked to Tim Bresnan. We've only texted a few times. No talking, because Tim's kind of like he's a little bit deaf. So he can't hear very well on the phone. So you got to kind of text him, Bresnan, because he's hard of hearing. Like when he's arm wrestling, you got to be loud when you say go.
So that night he texts you and says there's a problem?
No. So it was all good. It was never Tim. It was Sean Hancock. And he waited a few days, money. And again, like I said, all the texts that Sean sent between me and him, they're true. Because I like I said, I was trying to talk myself into doing this. And I was trying to talk myself into doing. Then I was like, but then Sean, hang on, I'm gonna tell you right now. Then when this big did you see it when it took place, when it got out of hand online a few days ago?
No, I didn't.
See all this? Okay, because so my wife, and then Tim said, oh, you erased it. Well, I didn't erase it. My wife did. My wife didn't want she didn't want all that because she has customers that are our friends on Facebook. So I didn't erase it.
But what happened? Word started going back and forth online?
Yeah. So before that, it was what's his name? Hang on, let me pull it up.
Yeah, you find that on your text, but I want to just ask my subscribers below. You guys can just comment below what you guys think of the whole story, and with the $690 hotel fee, and how that was brought up that day of. What do you guys think? Do you think it should have been brought up 10 weeks before when the match was set up, or do you think that's a reasonable $690 for a hotel room? just comment below. We kind of just want to feel out what you guys are thinking right now.
Even 3 days before, right? Because if they would have told me 3 days before, I would have said, save your money, Tim, because I'm not paying $690, right? You probably could have talked me into $345. You probably could have talked me into that, right? But $690 is
But me being a promoter, I got to disagree with that, man. It's got to be when you set that match 10 weeks
okay.
before, because like I don't want to, I don't want to be put in this position myself. I do a lot of super matches and all, and I like to just give out all the info right off the bat. This way, if you back out, then you knew all the stipulations beforehand. So leaving it to the last day, I mean, it's almost like they felt like they knew $690 was going to be a problem, and they didn't want to deal with that until the day of.
Okay, this is what got me bent out of shape. So I was still like in my mind, just fit. I was, like I said, I was trying to work through this, right? This was very but then here's what made it easy for me. August 24th, 1:26 in the afternoon. Now this is PAL, this is Sean Hancock. And when he says I hear, that's from Tim Bresnan, because I did say stuff to Tim Bresnan. I should have gave you the money, not Sean, is what I told him. I hear now that it's my fault. You didn't pay in full. Lots of excuses keep coming from paying 500. So here's the deal. I'm paying Tim. You owe me 500. Are you going to pay me what you owe me or not? No beating around the bush, no excuses. On your reputation goes a long way in this sport. Are you sure you want to damage that? Pay what you owe, or just say you're not going to. So when he sent that to me, I said, I'm not going to, right? Then that's when I went from being cool to not being cool. And that's when I said, nope, I'm not. So I don't think he paid Tim, right? Maybe he did, but he is the guy that should have paid Tim immediately. Tim is his athlete. Am I wrong in saying that?
Well, I think we're going
What
past
would
the
you have
problem.
done? Let me ask you this: What would you have done if it was your let's say me and you are in you're Sean Hancock, same exact situation.
I'm going to
and
tell you
it's Jerry,
exactly what I would do.
It's Jerry. Would you pay
10 weeks out, I would have brought this up, and I would have said, this is what the hotel room's going to cost. Because by doing that, you're getting full agreement. There's nothing that's going to be a mystery. Waiting to the last second, I feel like it was a mistake. But, also, I don't want to blame Sean, because, he's also under the impression that, you're paying up the $1,000 appearance. You're willing to pay the $1,000 cash prize. So I'm thinking that he just assumed, everything was going the way it was supposed to and all that. Maybe he was a little surprised when Tim gave him, the $690 fee for the hotel as well. But to solve that, I'm not saying Sean personally, but any promoter should do this from now on, is put everything out the contract. This is going to be the appearance fee. This is going to be the cash prize. This is going to be the hotel fee. That would have been taken care of 10 weeks beforehand. There'd be no issue. And, if you didn't pay then there would be a problem. So that's my only issue, was that it was brought to you.
Yeah, that's the gray area, right? That's the gray area. And look, on me and him, that is the gray area. But, since it didn't happen, like you said, since it didn't happen like 10 weeks prior when we first set up the match, because look, here's another thing, and this is on text too. Sean told me he was going to give me a link to pay the hotel, right? And this was month and a half before. I said, Sean, I don't have a link. I don't have a link. Because if I would have had a chance to pay for the hotel before Tim stayed and blah, 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 I wouldn't have booked him no 690, and I would have paid for one night, right? So I asked more than once. I don't have a link, because he was going to send me a link where I could pay it, right? I would have booked the room myself for Tim, right? And you can promise you it wouldn't have been $690. I would have booked the room myself. And I reached out, and why wouldn't you let me do that? Why wouldn't he let me do that? You know what I mean? He said, he just couldn't be awaited. The lady's not answering. Anybody can call a hotel room and book a room for somebody else. I can call and book a room for you, no problem. I can call and book a room for Ron Bath, Kenny Smith, Paul Lynn, anywhere with my card and with your name, my credit card. But that wasn't allowed because I tried that and I was waiting. I was just waiting for a link. And I didn't think, because I didn't think this was going to happen, right? Because so in retrospect, I didn't think that this was all going to come back like this, right? I did not think it was going to be like this, or I would have insisted on knowing the amount, because it was almost when he showed me the 692 minutes before I arm wrestled Tim Bresnan, I about had a freaking heart attack, but I had to keep it to myself. I just freaking was just like, oh. But I didn't have time to get mad because I was getting ready to arm wrestle Tim Bresnan. So I had to push that off and deal with my emotions later. And so it's just really a messed up situation how that happened. But going forward, that'll never happen again. And like I said, man, I think that the I guess the organization being PAL and Tim is a PAL athlete, and the agreement was not between me and Tim Bresnan. The agreement was between the amount that Sean Hancock asked me for was 1,000 show and 1,000 to win if Tim wins, and I gave that plus 200 for the room. And that is not up for discussion. I gave 2,200. He should have immediately gave Tim Bresnan his 2,000 because he's the athlete. He only gave Tim 1,500. He kept the 700. That's what happened. And then just add in all this little like this hoopla, like where the squirrely stuff comes in. I tried to run off. That's just them making stuff up, right?